Welcome back everyone. Another important video on request. It's the workbook solutions of the poem I Remember written by Thomas Hood. This is extract number 1. When did the sun come peeping? Why? There are 2 subparts. Change paragraphs. When did the sun come peeping? The rays of the sun came peeping through the window at morning. You may also quote from the text at morn, M-O-R-N. And then why? The poet fondly remembers the sun rising in the morning. So this is a fond memory, a fond remembrance. He would see the sun rising and setting at the same time. This shows the childlike ignorance of the poet, showing the beginning of a day early in the morning. And he always looked forward to the beginning of the day because throughout the day he would enjoy himself. तो ये पोएट जब वो छोटे थे, बच्चे थे, इतने सरल थे कि उनको मॉर्निंग्स पसंद थे. जब जब सूरज आकाश में सूरज को वो देखता था तो उसे बहुत खुशी होती थी. And he also fondly remembers the rays of the sun peeping through the window. So here sun is personified, personification of the sun. And this shows his naivety as a child. Naivety का मतलब मैंने easy explanation video में बताया था. Naivety का मतलब वो बहुत सरल थे. जब poet एक बच्चे थे तो वो बहुत सरल थे. So in this way you must write your answers, change paragraphs and include all the important points. So what are the key areas in this answer? Fondly remembers, and then he would see the sun rising and setting at the same time. This shows his innocence, his childlike ignorance, and this also shows the beginning of a day early in the morning. What do the lines "never came a wink too soon" imply? What is the poet trying to indicate? You will have to give the inner meaning. अब तुम लोग क्लास 9 में हो, 9 में सिर्फ ऊपर से पोएम तुम नहीं पढ़ोगे. तुम्हें क्या करना है? जो इनर मीनिंग से उन्हें तुम्हें जानना है, so that you can write your answers. What do the lines "never came a wink too soon" imply? What do the words? In the workbook it is given lines, but change it into words. The sun is personified as discussed. Personification of the sun. और personification क्या है? When we give human-like qualities to an inanimate object, to a non-living thing or an idea, the figure of speech is personification. Here the sun is an inanimate object and the sun is personified. It never showed a minute too early, never came a wink too soon, or shone for more than the required hours. It is shown as a balanced, caring and polite person. तो सन को यहाँ पे एक balanced, caring और polite person की तरह यहाँ पे दिखाया गया है. Someone who is careful enough to follow a decent routine. He is very punctual. And you must mention this decent routine in your answer. Never came a wink too soon. जल्दी नहीं आते थे sun. So he followed a decent routine. This must be there in your answer. And what is the poet trying to indicate? The poet is trying to indicate the sun's consistent. वो sun बहुत consistent थे and dependable nature, suggesting an element of nostalgia. What is the poet doing here? He is an adult. वो बड़े हो गए हैं, मगर वो अपने जो बचपन के दिन हैं वो यहाँ पे याद कर रहे हैं. Therefore, there is a sense of nostalgia, and there is also a sense of stability. उनके जीवन में एक stability था जब वो छोटे थे, and he is remembering that by referring to the sun and the decent routine of the sun. Now dear students, I hope you will also watch our easy explanation video. You will get a lot of points over there to write your answers. Very quickly, question number 3. This is a one-shot video, so watch the entire video. Why does the poet wish the night had borne his breath away. Now the significance of the night, prepare this for your exam, very very important. Night had borne his breath away, मतलब काश वो रात में ही he would have passed away. The night would have taken away his breath. The poet's yearning for death, so he is longing for death. काश वो मर गए होते जब वो छोटे थे, जब नाइट था, तो आज का जो दिन है एज एन अडल्ट उन्हें देखना ना पड़ता. The poet's yearning for death shows his miserable condition. और वो ऐसा क्यों सोच रहे हैं? Because of his miserable condition at present. His extremely tiring and difficult present, जो present है, adulthood है, वो extremely tiring है और difficult है. The night represents death. He is disappointed. So you must highlight the emotional state of mind of the poet now. And he is burdened with the responsibilities and challenges of adulthood. Adulthood बहुत difficult है. जब वो छोटे थे, वो happy थे और childhood एक सुंदर phase था उनके जीवन में. But now he is a gloomy adult. His gloomy adult self and his depression, both these aspects are highlighted when he refers to his death wish. काश मैं मर गया होता. So he laments. What is the meaning of laments? वो दुखी है और वो अपना जो दुख है वो express कर रहे हैं, व्यक्त कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. He laments and wishes he had passed away. और क्यों वो ऐसा चाहते थे? To escape from the darkness, hollowness, suffering and hopelessness, and you may just add of the present. So there is a contrast, a difference between the past, his past childhood and his present adulthood. So this is the answer. Dear students, use words judiciously. Your linguistic ability is going to fetch you good marks. कैसे तुम अपने आप को express करते हो? Question 4, very quickly describe in your own words. This is significant. Descriptive answer. Describe in your own words the imagery portrayed in the extract. Thomas Hood uses visual imagery in the extract. I hope you have read the extract properly. So there is visual imagery here. He talks about the house where he was born. He presents a vivid, a clear picture, a vivid image of a little window through which the sunlight entered into the room. एक छोटा सा window था. The depiction of the sunshine and daytime represents the brighter and happier period of his life. जब वो छोटे थे, उनका जीवन जो था वो बहुत खुशियों भरा था. And in the past, happier period of his life in the past, he also refers to an image of night. वो daytime describe करते हैं, daytime के बारे में, sunshine के बारे में वो बोलते हैं. And he also speaks about the night to show the depressing and darker phase of his life at present. So throughout the poem, we have a contrast, and you must bring out this contrast, this difference through your answers. So in this answer, here the poet has placed visual imagery. He has placed visual imagery in the context of childhood memories. So ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो. Visual imagery, images placed in the context of childhood memories, and this provides a soothing effect. अगर ये पूछा गया तो तुम्हें लिखना है. So these childhood memories presented with the help of visual images placed in the context of childhood memories provided a soothing effect to the poet. But soon he realizes the harsh reality. उन्हें अपना जो present adulthood है उसके बारे में उन्हें जब याद आता है, वो जब realize करते हैं, childhood is a past phase of his life, lost phase of his life, he becomes disappointed. Question 5. Give the significance, the importance of the first line of this extract. First line क्या है? The poem opens with the expression, with the line, I remember. There is a repetition and this is repeated in every other stanza. Anaphora. Remember the figure of speech? Again, the easy explanation video. Dekh lena. This highlights the themes of recollection of the past, memories and nostalgia in the poem. मैंने ये सब कुछ easy explanation video में discuss किया हुआ है. So, everything will seem easy if you go through that also. Thomas Hood mentions I. यहाँ पे देखो, I remember. So this is also significant and you will have to bring out all the important aspects in your answer. तो answers 3 लाइन में fit नहीं होने वाले हैं. Workbook में 4 lines, 3 lines, maximum 5 lines तुम्हें workbook में दिखेगा. मगर in the workbook you cannot get so many lines to write your answers. Answers are going to be lengthy depending on the question. I cannot fit this in just 4 lines, sorry. And my handwriting is also not that small so that I can fit in. So dear students, please adapt and adjust your style. Study with an open mind. Thomas Hood mentions I perhaps intentionally to give this verse, give this poem a personal touch. ये उनके बारे में है, उनके बचपन के बारे में है, उनके adulthood के बारे में है. इसीलिए I is important. He makes use of anaphora. अभी मैंने बताया है. Repetition of I remember in every stanza, figure of speech, anaphora and alliteration भी है. Literary devices भी है यहाँ पे. Remember starts with an R and again remember starts with an R. To provide the poem its lyrical tone. Very, very important. This is a lyric. And how does he give the tone? A lyrical aspect, a lyrical touch by using such literary devices. This serves as a gateway, ये एक रास्ता है into the poet's introspective journey. Now, introspective journey का क्या मतलब है? वो अपने past में चले जाते हैं. And this is a journey from the present to the past and again coming back to the harsh reality of the present and drawing the readers into his childhood. हमें भी उनके साथ वो ले जाते हैं into his childhood. And he uses literary devices, imagery in order to express his feelings. तो यहाँ पे कितने important features मैंने mention किया है. Number 1, repetition. Number 2, themes. Number 3, personal touch. Use of I. Number 4, anaphora. And number 5, introspective journey. This is a compact answer. Significance of the first line. After this, I have extract number 2. Very quickly, read the extract from the screen. What does flowers made of light mean? Again, an important question. Light का क्या मतलब है? The poet mentions a great variety of flowers. बहुत सारे flowers describe उन्होंने किया है. बहुत सारे flowers को that bloomed in his garden during his childhood. These flowers were exceedingly beautiful. बहुत सुंदर थे. Delicate and metaphorically frighteningly fragile. आज वो fresh flowers है, कल वो fresh नहीं रहेंगे. जब वो छोटे थे उन्हें ये सब पता नहीं था, मगर अब वो एक adult है and therefore whenever he remembers the flowers, he remembers their beauty, their delicate nature, but also realizes that they are fragile. बहुत नाजुक है ये flowers. ये flowers झड़ सकते हैं with the passage of time, just as he has changed. His innocence has been lost with the passage of time. They appeared to be heavenly. जब वो छोटे थे, ये flowers बहुत heavenly दिखते थे, मगर ephemeral भी दिखते हैं. अब ephemeral का मतलब they are fresh. They were fresh, but now they are not there. Fleeting nature of time. They were also lively, vibrant, use these terms, and radiant. बहुत colorful, bright flowers थे. Hence, they were flowers made of light, with an abundance of color, very colorful, bringing a subtle richness and beauty. This is the meaning of flowers made of light. ये poem जितना छोटा है, easy है, उतना छोटा and easy answers नहीं होने वाले हैं, because this poem is full of inner meanings. What does the building of its nest by a robin in the lilac suggest? Suggestive answer. Word meaning लिखने से नहीं होगा, inner meaning को यहाँ पे highlight करना है. How is the poet affected by its absence now? They were present, it was present in his childhood, but now it is absent in the present. So contrast. Highlight this contrast in your answer. This is a key concept. अगर तुम्हें ये समझ आ गया, you will be able to write any answer. So the building of its nest by a robin in the lilacs, which is a visual imagery, mention this, provides a sense of comfort, highlighting the nurturing aspect of nature. Nature किसी को वापस नहीं भेजता. Nature में ये छोटा सा जो पंछी था, रॉबिन, अपना जो घोंसला है वो बिल्ड करता है. And this shows the nurturing aspect of nature and also provides us a sense of comfort, stability. Remember in the first extract, a sense of stability. So house of the poet, and then there is the house of this robin. These are fond memories. How is the poet affected by its absence now? The lilacs and the robin are fond memories of the poet's childhood. Fond memories, अच्छी यादें. So their absence now makes him gloomy and nostalgic. There is a longing for the past. Use these terms in your answer. Longing for the past. And his present life is full of misery, unhappiness. There is a gap. Hence the contrast. There is a gap between the present and the past. Fleeting nature of time. अब वो अपने बचपन में वापस नहीं जा सकते हैं. वो उनके बारे में सोच सकते हैं, यादें हैं, मगर वो अब एक छोटे बच्चे फिर से नहीं बन सकते. He is an adult now. I hope you are understanding the answers. Briefly describe the garden of the poet's childhood. The garden of the poet's childhood filled with surpassingly beautiful and colorful flowers. Use these terms. Surpassingly, adverbs. And then exceedingly, very beautiful and colorful flowers is a vivid visual image. तो imagery garden section में बहुत important है. There are white, red roses, violets, lilies, lilacs. Mention the flowers clearly. And then they bring out the color imagery. तो visual imagery के बाद हमें क्या mention करना है? Color imagery, burst of colors. The robin builds its nest in the lilacs. ये भी mention करना है. Laburnum भी mention करना है. The laburnum tree which was planted by his brother is still surviving. The garden is a lively setting. A critical comment you must write at the end. Dear students, write your answers like this and I'm sure you will get good marks. And also learn how to adapt and adjust your style. This is a reference material. यहाँ से points लेके अपना जो answers है उन्हें उसे frame कर देना तुम. What memories does he have of his brother? The poet remembers that his brother planted in the garden a tree on his birthday years ago. So it was a happy moment, birthday, when you are born. So birthday years ago, he was celebrating by planting a tree, another life. So tree is also another life. It was a laburnum tree. And which tree is living? That tree, laburnum, is living. What does this signify? The tree is a tangible reminder of his buried past. This is a buried past, a token, a gift from his brother who is no longer alive. This is a tragedy. The brother who had planted another life is dead. So this is the bitter truth of life and death circle, the cycle of life and death on earth. And how has he realized this? With the passage of time, he has grown up, he is an adult now, and he now realizes that all men are mortal. His brother is dead, but the tree is still surviving. Give the meaning of the roses red and white. And also remember not to repeat your points. Frame your answers in such a way that you do not repeat your points. ये जो क्वेश्चन से एक दूसरे के साथ इंटररिलेटेड है, सो बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स एक होने वाले हैं. Try to use synonyms. The image of the roses red and white brings out the color imagery and gives a vibrant sensory experience. We can feel it with our senses, with the sense of sight. We can visualize. The cheerful red color बहुत cheerful color है, warm, vibrant color है, and the calming white. Mention this in your answer, the color scheme. Cheerful red and the calming white reflect the mood of the speaker. उनका जो mood अब है वो कौन सा mood है, कैसा mood है? Gloomy mood. But in his childhood, he was happy. And the happiness and ease one feels as a child. तो ये color scheme, color imagery significant है. After this, where my brother set the laburnum. The poet's brother had planted the laburnum. Unfortunately, he is dead now, but the tree is still surviving. As an adult, the poet realizes the bitter truth about death and he is reminded of his brother. And this is painful. He is already troubled. He is already sad. और जब उन्हें वो जब अपने भाई को याद करते हैं, इस ट्री को देखते हैं, so he becomes sadder. Extract 3. Read the extract. What does the poet think when he was swinging? When the poet was swinging, he wondered if the swallows felt the same rush of air while flying. He imagines the exhilarating sensation, the thrilling sensation of the wind and the freedom it represents. When the birds fly in the sky, there is freedom. They enjoy limitless freedom in the sky. And when the poet was swinging, he felt himself to be a bird, feeling the rush of air. Which figure of speech is used in line 3 of this extract? The figure of speech is simile. The poet compares the feeling of the air rushing past him while swinging to the fresh sensation experienced by the flying swallows. एक पंछी की तरह उन्होंने भी swinging किया था, experiencing freedom and the thrill of flight. वो आसमान को छू रहे थे, वो आसमान को चूम रहे थे, और वो कितने खुश थे. He was feeling the rush of air. What do you understand by the swallows on the wing? The expression swallows on the wing means flying movement of the swallows. Who are the swallows? Swallows are small birds with dark glossy blue backs, red throats, pale underparts and long-tailed streamers. They are extremely agile breeding birds and they are migratory birds in the northern hemisphere. So you will get this section in any dictionary. After this, why are they mentioned here? They are mentioned to evoke a sense of limitless freedom, agility, carefree life and natural beauty. Number 1. Freedom. Number 2, agility. Number 3, carefree life. And number 4, natural beauty. The poet is reminded of his own carefree childhood. How did the poet's spirit fly? Metaphorically, this is a metaphor now. How did his spirit fly? metaphor. The poet is reminded of the freely flowing childhood self. His spirit flew high in the sky. His spirit flew in the air effortlessly. उन्हें बहुत ज़्यादा effort नहीं देना पड़ा था जब वो छोटे थे, because he did not have any pressure. He did not feel the pressure of life. Just as the birds use their light feathers in order to fly high, his spirit was also flying high, soaring, gliding through the air, through the sky. His spirit was carefree. He felt light, unaware of the burden of the adult world. He was enjoying himself. And what is the next question? What is the state of his spirit now? Again, a contrast. His carefree spirit of his childhood has been crushed, shattered by the weight of unending responsibilities. He has a lot of responsibilities to fulfill, a lot of duties to perform. Therefore, he is now crushed. His spirit is no longer a happy spirit. He is filled with melancholy. Melancholy is an important word. Melancholy का मतलब grief, sorrow and hopelessness. His spirit has undergone a drastic change. पूरा change हो गया है with the passage of time. Again, fleeting nature of time after the loss of his childhood vitality, vigor and innocence. पूरा change हो गया है, and you must bring out this change in your answer. How does this extract show the theme of saudade? What is saudade? A profound feeling of longing for something or someone. And then there is nostalgia and melancholy. अभी मैंने बताया था melancholy is an important word, और देखो saudade is an important theme. Yearning for the past, yearning to go back, but that phase is lost. Yearning to get back somebody who is no longer there. So a profound feeling of, number one, longing, nostalgia, and there is also melancholy, sadness. जो बीत गया है वो कभी वापस नहीं आएगा. जो चले गए हैं वो कभी वापस नहीं लौटेंगे. And there is grief in this. There is pain in this. The contrast. This is important. Contrast. This word must be there in your answer. The contrast between the lightness of childhood, the carefree nature of childhood, and the heavy present. Contrast kya hai? Light and heavy. Present in which he is stuck intensifies his grief. So, what is lost? The childhood years, the lightness of childhood, the vitality, the vigor, and again, so there is grief, there is melancholy at the loss of his happy childhood. So this is saudade. The poet has moved far ahead in his life, so he cannot go back, he cannot get back what is lost. And he feels the daunting weight of adulthood looming over him. He misses the beautiful phase of childhood and idolizes it. Kash, wo wapas ja sakte. This is the theme of saudade, a remembrance. Remembrance of the past. All these questions are important. And summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. Explain what the poet meant by these lines. A clear explanation is wanted here. Again, 3 line में ये answer fit नहीं होने वाला है. You must write a little as briefly as you can. The harsh reality. Use this term. The reality of his present life is harsh. His worldly concerns are so prominent that no childhood memories of summer pools can cool down the fitful fever of his life. He is sick. What is the meaning of this sickness, of this fever? He is feeling feverish. He is feeling sad. He is feeling upset, depressed. And this is a fever, depression, hopelessness. The poet cannot just simply slide back into his comforting memories. Whenever he remembers his childhood, he is also reminded of the harsh reality of the present. And this is indeed very, very painful. To think that now nothing can soothe, nothing can calm him down, nothing can provide him comfort, soothe his adult aching heart, aching, paining heart. His childhood ignorance is lost forever, and the realization of the bitter truths makes him feverish. Feverish ka matlab emotionally disturbed. A clear explanation. Everything has been mentioned in this answer. Extract 5. What did the poet think about the fir trees as a child? The fir trees that stood dark and high against the sky made the poet think that they were close to the sky heaven, swarg ke paas. This shows his naivety, saralta. Identify any two literary devices used in this extract. The line I remember is an example of alliteration already discussed. After this, the poet uses hyperbole. Hyperbole, this is common, exaggeration, when he says that as a child he believed that the fir trees with their slender tops were close against the sky, touching the sky. This is exaggeration. What does he refer to as childish ignorance? It was the poet's childhood ignorance, lack of information, intelligence during his childhood, which made him believe that the heaven was not far off. This idea is his childhood ignorance. Ye sach nahi hai. The slender tops of the fir trees were close to heaven. So this is the concept which he believed in. This was his perception. What is the joy referred to in the extract? His reasoning and intellect now as an adult has deprived him. So now he has become mature. He uses reason. He is intelligent now. He is a rational person now. And he knows that the treetops did not touch the heaven. Has deprived him of comfort and happiness he experienced in the past. There is little joy. There is little comfort, happiness. His previous perceptions as a child seem improbable and are shattered. So this joy is the comfort and happiness that he experienced in the past. So this is the joy. And there is little joy now. His perceptions are shattered. Why did the poet feel closer to heaven earlier? So he was naive, saral, inexperienced and ignorant. His childhood was a blissful period and thus he felt closer to heaven. उन्हें लगता था वो स्वर्ग के बहुत पास है. And the slender tops of the fir trees were almost touching heaven. And why does he feel farther off from heaven now? अब वो heaven से बहुत दूर है. Why? As an adult. So as a child and now as an adult. The contrast versus. As an adult, the poet uses reason and rationality. Important. This must be there in your answer. The grave troubles of adulthood and years of experience have made him mature enough to realize that heaven is out of reach. I'll just make a change. Have. Use have here. The grave troubles of adulthood, years of experience have made him mature enough. Maturity. He has become wise to realize that heaven is out of reach. His innocence is lost and his wisdom distances him from heaven. Very, very important. His wisdom. He has to pay a price for being wise. The last 3 lines suggest that the poet has lost his youthful joy and optimism. Do you agree? Elaborate with reference to the poem. You will have to elaborate with reference to the entire poem. The poet's tone is pensive. Pensive and hopeless. This shows his lack of optimism. He is frustrated. He is depressed, hopeless. He has lost his youthful joy. So, I agree. When he yearns for death, a reflection of his extremely difficult present. So, yes, his spirit is heavy now and lacks youthful joy. He is no longer carefree, happy. He laments, he's lamenting. Again, he's not happy, lost his youthful joy. He laments the loss of innocence and innocence as an adult, which makes him melancholic. He is sad. The contrast between his boyhood and adulthood reflects or highlights his misery. So very briefly, I have just explained that I agree.